Hi, my name is Marta. I'm very glad you're here. Thank you for spending time with me. Today we are gonna do something a little bit different. So it's been 3 months since we started the year, and I wanted to do a quarter 1 check-in for no other reason than having the opportunity to do a new spread with a new layout. The journal I'm using is a B5 from the brand TFOC. I have a discount code, so I will put it on the screen. It's always in the description as well in case you want to check them out. And most of the stationery I'm using is from Journal Safe. A while ago, I filmed a stationery haul with all the stationery I got from them, so I will link that above. And the vision for this spread basically is I just want to check in on my yearly goals, see how I'm progressing, but of course I want it to be decorated in a nice way. So I am sticking with green palette, green colors, because this year's journal has a foresty, woodland, nature vibe, and I do have quite a lot of stationery with those colors, so that's what I'm sticking with. The idea was to create a border, and usually the borders I do them either with washi tape or I just draw them with markers, but this time around I wanted to try and rip some of the papers I have and kind of do a collage border, and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the result. I just kept alternating 3 different papers. I think it gives it a very organic look. It keeps it organized but in a messy way. What I wanted to do as well was highlight the 5-star books I've read so far, so I wanted them to have a spotlight section, and I used the same papers to highlight that. It was a little bit disappointing when I realized that actually in 2026 I have only read 2 5-star books so far. For some reason I was under the impression that number was higher, and in my head as I was planning this spread I was like, oh, there's gonna be like 4 or 5 books, it's gonna be very nice to have that section. And then when I double checked my reading journal and all the books I have read so far, I only had 2. So one of them, the first one, is The Second Death of Locke by B.L. Bovalino, and the other one is Through Gates of Garnet and Gold by Shauna Maguire, and that one is part of a series. Interestingly, these 2 books, I read them in January, so I haven't had a 5-star since January. And you know what? I feel it. I feel that lack of outstanding books lately. Here I'm working on the title, and I always struggle a little bit with titles. I'm not good at calligraphy, and that's fine. I completely accept that. So I always find it challenging to come up with an interesting title. And I just went with the trusted stamp method, and I just put quarter 1 using 2 different sets of stamps. And then, as I said, what I'm keen on doing is checking in on the progress I've been making with my yearly goals so far. One of my goals is to read 150 books, and I wanted to organize this goal or to categorize this goal by quarters, just to see if I'm on track or not. By the end of March, I have read 45 books, which means that I am on track. I read just a little bit more than a quarter of 150 books, so good progress on that front. Another goal of mine is to read a new release a month. So here I'm capturing that I have read 3 new releases, 1 per month. And actually I think it was February or January, where I read 2 new releases, but I just counted 1 because the idea is to consistently read new releases throughout the year. Another one of my goals is to finish 4 series, and I'm happy to report that I've finished 2 so far already, so that's good progress there. And finally, I have my most ambitious goal, which is my TBR 0. At the beginning of the year, I had 135 books on my TBR to be read list, books that I am very interested in reading that have been on my list for so long. And so one of my intentions this year is to bring it down as much as possible and ideally bring that number down to 0. In terms of progress, a quarter through the year, I've read 28% of the books, which is great because it means that I'm a little bit ahead. What I wanted to do with the space I had at the bottom of the screen was to capture, of the 45 books I read, how many of them I read with an ebook or physical, and how many I read with an audiobook. I think this year is the first one where I've read more ebooks or physical books than audiobooks. And then there was a blank space on the page, so I wanted to cover it up with a sticker. You can never go wrong with a sticker. I'm just adding here that the first pile is ebooks and then the second pile is audiobooks. And then I had that blank space on the right hand side, and I decided I would track what genres have I read the most in the first 3 months of the year. And I've organized them in order from genres I've read the most to genres I've read the least. We have horror, fantasy, romance, contemporary or literary fiction, non-fiction, short stories, thriller, mystery, and classics. Any other genres that are not here, such as sci-fi, for example, they are not here because I have not read any yet this year. In terms of numbers, I've read the same amount of horror, fantasy, and romance books. I was a little bit surprised by this. If you were to ask me at the beginning of the year what is my top genre, I would have said contemporary / literary fiction. So it's been an interesting surprise. I'm just adding some color to the books I drew on the other page. And then again, I had a blank space at the bottom So I'm just using the same paper I used for the border and for the title to cover that space and to keep that cohesiveness of collage border. I will also cover that blank space with a couple more stickers. So overall, in the first quarter, I'm on track with my goals. I'm a little bit ahead actually, which is nice to see. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up the same pace throughout the year, but it's always good to take a second and check in on how you are progressing. Is it necessary? No, of course not. It's just a nice way to check on your goals and to be creative. If you have goals yourself, let me know how you are progressing. Are you ahead of them? Are you a little bit behind? Have you left them behind completely? Let me know how your year is going in terms of reading. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you're being kind to yourself. Bye!